Happy Wednesday, folks. Happy Wednesday. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. Right now, I love these particular episodes because this is the KP and JoJo show. I always say it's a playoff Casey and JoJo.
Yeah.
But it's the KP and JoJo show powered by the Cabrini Kid podcast. Dave is, he's out doing something. But that's neither here nor there. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining us tonight. First and foremost, I am Keinon, aka KP. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Perkins to you. Then we have the lovely. I want to say Jordan because that's. I want to say Jordan. So here we have, the lovely Jordan, aka JoJo. So if you guys hear me call her that, I don't call her JoJo. I don't like to do all that. I call her Jordan. Oh. But Jordan, thank you for joining us tonight. How are you? Happy Wednesday. How's life? Talk to me.
Well, thank you so much for having me again. Happy Wednesday. We were talking about it right before we went live, but I'm getting hyped for college football. We got Ohio State and the Longhorns this weekend, which is convenient because I actually am going to be out in Houston this weekend. So I'm going to be in enemy territory. Wish me luck. The game's in the shoe, but I'm going to be surrounded by a lot of Longhorns this weekend. So pray for me, y'all, because it's getting sticky.
Oh, it's definitely. So that is at the shoe, right?
Yeah.
So before we get into the regular topics, I know you are from the Columbus area.
Yes.
How, describe to me, besides, OSU versus Michigan, besides that at the shoe, what kind of craziness do you think is going to be going on at or in Columbus this weekend?
That's so interesting. Listen, KP, the only college football game I've ever been to, is Ohio State. Okay. So that's all I've ever experienced. And then a year ago, when I moved out to Atlanta, I went to a Auburn game. The person I was seeing at the time was a big Auburn fan. He's like, we got to go to an Auburn game. You've never experienced something like this in your life. I'm like, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. I feel like I'm pretty used to it. He's like, no, not like this. So I had very high expectations. And we went to, I think it's called John Hopkins Stadium? John something stadium. I'm probably totally disrespecting every Auburn fan that's listening right now.
I don't know what it's called.
It's John something. The point is, the atmosphere was electric. Beautiful experience. It was great. I had an awesome time. I'm not an Auburn fan. I don't even remember who they were playing, truth be told. But it would be like comparing a high school basketball team to the LA Lakers, like seeing LeBron. Like I was like, this is cool, have a good time, and it's nothing like a game day in Columbus, Ohio. It doesn't matter who they're playing. Like you said, the Michigan rivalry, all hell breaks loose. Couches get set on fire, cars get flipped over. I don't know. It's just buck wild. But any other time, it's also lit. Like they could be playing a nobody and it's still going to be lit in the city. Like, I just think Ohio State fans are so annoying, truthfully, as one
Facts.
myself.
Facts.
We are the worst. We're the worst. Like, I'm almost embarrassed just a little bit when I tell people that I root for Ohio State because they're like, oh, and I'm like, I get it. You know, you don't have to tell me twice. I get it. But it's going to be crazy for sure.
Yeah, I like to think that Ohio State fans are a lot. Granted, I give it. You guys are the defending national champions. So what I'm going to say right here is probably going to sound crazy, but you guys are like Cowboys fans, in my opinion. It's like you guys are just like every year is just like, I mean, they're just so annoying, and it's so annoying, so annoying.
I get it. No offense
So
taken.
annoying. But so yeah, so it's a big game this weekend. You know, Ohio State versus UT, or UT versus Ohio State. So yeah, I would assume that Columbus will be buzzing.
Yeah, for sure.
This weekend. That will be a good time. Nick, what's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. All right. So again, we're gonna get this party started, right? I know you and I talked earlier this week about a couple things. I want to bring that up first, and then there's a couple other things that I saw online that, you know, I think I would love to get your opinion on. I would love to get your thoughts on. You know, I would love to get, you know, if you have, well, I know you have girlfriends, but girlfriends in Atlanta, like what you think their views are on certain of these topics that I'm going to bring up. But the one that you and I talked about was the girl going through her dude's phone, and she didn't find anything, and she was low-key mad that she didn't find anything. And she's been with this dude, I think she said, for a couple years. No pictures, no Pornhub, no nothing. And she's like, this dude is boring. So like, for one, I guess, you know, again, I think I said this on a previous episode. I can't wait till I feel that level of maturity to where I could give my girlfriend my phone and just, even if I'm not doing anything, but just give her my phone and just do, you know? So for the fact that I give them kudos, I give him kudos, I give them kudos for the fact that that's even, you know, going on. So she went through his phone. I think personally that if he gave her the phone with no issues, I feel like that was good enough. What's your thoughts?
Good enough meaning what? Like that should have sufficed as like security?
Yeah, like, okay, well, he's willing to do it, so like willingly.
Yeah.
Then okay, I don't really want to look at your phone, babe. I would just want to see what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
But then you go through his phone and then you don't find anything, and you're like, what?
Okay, so I truly believe in that saying, ignorance is bliss, because every time I've ever suspected something, I've been right. Do you know what I mean? Like you kind of like know. So I feel like I know that I think like you said, I think they had like a conversation about it. Like it wasn't her sneaking around, but I think about like the conversations you guys have had on here about the T app and those Facebook groups about like, is this your man? Like when I think that like when a woman's already gotten to that point with a man, at that point, I'm like, I mean, you kind of already like, come on, you know what it is, you know. Right. But I think in this instance, I had so many mixed feelings because I'm like, I feel as if in our society of dating nowadays, if it's not to the highest level of toxicity, a vast majority of women do feel bored. Now, I'm going to pause there because I would say for myself, as somebody who has dealt with immense amount of toxicity, truthfully, and, you know, went to therapy for years and figured out that that's not love. You know, I think a lot of women think that if a man is not, you know, just putting her through hell, then he must not love me. When in reality, that's like the most immature way of thinking about any situation. Like, if it's not to the extreme, then it must not be that he's into me. When I would argue that if you find a man that doesn't have hoes in the DMs, he's not messaging them, they're not messaging him, he's not worried about that. I think that is like what every relationship should strive for, is that like peace of just like you said, babe, you want my phone? You can have it. That tells me everything. Thank you. We're good. You know?
Yeah. Now, like, what if a dude asks you for your phone?
Sure. You want to know something really sad?
What?
There's this trend right now on social media where you ask Chat GPT what it thinks about you. Like, you're supposed to say, Chat GPT, what do you think about me? And it gives you like a breakdown. And my Chat GPT told me that basically all I do is work. It's like you value your job at such a high level and you really focus every ounce of your day on work. And I'm like, if my man right now looked at my phone, he would be like, yeah, you're boring. He'd probably sound like that girl. He'd be like, you're boring. I am boring though. It would probably be like all videos of like Marvel or like Star Wars.
Oh my God. So are you depending on if you have suspicions, do you think that it's okay for either sex to go through their partner's phones?
I don't think so. I think
it's okay.
No, I think that's just a conversation. And again, this kind of goes back to like just this generation of not wanting to have tough conversations, right? Like, yeah. I feel as if you have suspicions, sit down with that person and just tell them like, this is what it is. I'm not feeling trustworthy of you right now. There has to be a reason why. Can you chat through this with me? If they lie, you're going to find out eventually, right? Like, right. I'm a firm believer of it might not come out a month from now, a year from now, everything comes to light eventually. So it's like, why not just be upfront with the person than be snoopy and be freaking weird? That's weird to me.
It's true. I got a question for you. So we have Moncia. Hi, what's going on, Monica? How you doing? Glad that you. Bear. We got Nick. He says, mine doesn't go through my phone. She already knows women are on me when she's not with me. I've had a girl at a club dead ass come up to me while I was with her. And then he says, which I'm shocked, JoJo is right. I don't want my girl worrying because if I'm with her, I choose her every time, even while others are thrown my way. Nick, shut up, man. Ain't nobody on you like that. Shut up.
Stop.
Anyway, but Nick, thank you for hopping on. Appreciate you, my guy. To add on to that, why do you think? See, Moncia, she knows. she knows Nick. Why do you think it is so hard to have a hard conversation with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your husband or your wife, just in general? It have to necessarily be about like what we were just talking about, the phone or so on and so forth. But like, why do you think it's so hard to have a conversation? Like, before you go, I would think if this is my girlfriend that, I would have a good gauge of how to communicate with her to where I wouldn't feel like those conversations should be hard. Now, I know that everyone takes, I'll just say feedback. I won't say criticism. I'll say feedback. Everyone takes feedback differently, So even the toughest of men take feedback hard.
Yeah.
And the toughest of women take feedback personally or hard. So why do you think having a hard conversation in general, it could be something about them not taking out the trash and it's really annoying you, or something more serious, but why do you think it's tough to have a hard conversation with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife?
Well, a lot of therapy has taught me that I think we lie to ourselves a lot. Like, we think we're perfect. We think we're amazing, because the truth of the matter is you're the only person hearing yourself every day, right? That's like that whole theory about like the way you speak about yourself, and like those kinds of things matter. So I think it's very difficult for people, especially like in their late, maybe like late 20s, early 30s into their, late 30s, early 40s, when you're somebody that has learned a set way, or that you behave this way in this manner, it's very hard to untrain your brain to not think a certain way. So I'm going to use myself as an example. Every time I've ever dated a man, every time I brought up an issue, it was met with an argument. So if I went to a man and I said, hey, can I talk to you about this? It really upset me. It always ended in a fight. So after years and years of that, I just stopped bringing stuff up. Like, I just stopped. I was like, okay, well, I'm just not going to bring anything up. But the issue with that is that it bottles and it, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, again, through my experiences, what I learned is it becomes smaller when you address it earlier. Like, I feel like things don't become as big of an issue, especially in relationships, but this can apply to friends, family, jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you let behaviors go on for so long, it almost gets harder to go backwards. So, when I think of a job, right? Like, if they abuse you, they abuse you, they abuse you. Now we're 6 months in, and now I'm saying, hey, I'm out. And they're like, what? We had no idea. And you're like, well, this is what I've been dealing with for 6 months. As somebody in leadership, I'm always like, well, dang, I wish you would have told me 6 months ago. Like, maybe I could have fixed it, But same goes for a relationship. When somebody says, I'm out, you're a piece of crap, I'm done with you. And they're like, whoa, where is this coming from? And then they bring up something that happened a year ago. And you're like, well, why didn't you talk about it a year ago? So I feel like a lot of times, like, it's uncomfortable to talk about it in the moment, but oftentimes it'll get solved more quickly, and now you're just past it.
No, I totally agree with that. So do you think that it's more of a passive thing for said person, that they won't speak to their partner about said issue? Or do you think it's more of do you think that that's the issue? I mean, because why wouldn't you bring something up regardless? I mean, if it's a year later, that's wild. But why wouldn't you bring it up? Is it because, you are passive towards that person? You are scared to talk to that person? And I'm thinking that if this is my partner, I wouldn't want them to feel that way. I would want them to feel comfortable enough to come to me, to be able to talk to me about something that is bothering them, regardless if they think it's going to hurt my feelings or not.
Yeah. I think that's a behavior, though, like I said, that, not everybody understands. And like, I didn't understand it, but now, like, I think to myself, like, gosh, I would rather be pissed for 5 minutes because you came to me with something than be pissed for 5 months because you went a different route and didn't handle it from the jump. I think it's one of those things where it's like, again, I think maybe, right? Like you said, passive, they're scared, they're timid, their past experiences, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like, I think we're all human, and we would probably all agree that we don't want to be in a situation to feel like shit. So at the end of the day, everybody says they want respect and authenticity and things like that, but then you need to be prepared to hear it. So both ways.
All right, let's see what we got here. We got Nick says, hey, I get it. Not everyone got it like that. Oh my God.
We need to get Nick's fiance on here.
He doesn't have a fiance. He's got a girlfriend.
Girlfriend. Oh, I thought he
Yeah.
was talking about proposing to her in an episode or something. Did I just ruin that for guys? Watch his girlfriend be watching.
I don't know. I don't think so. But
oh, maybe it was somebody else. Look, no pressure, Nick.
Right. So I saw something else online where it says, I just want to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
It says a man breaks down the financial responsibilities between him and his wife. He says, and this is his post. He says, if I'm paying the rent, she's paying the utilities. If I'm paying the car note, she's paying the insurance. If I'm washing dishes, she's cooking. If I'm paying for the movies, she's buying the snacks. If I'm washing clothes, she's going to fold them. If I'm sweeping the floor, she's going to mop it. If I'm paying for dinner, she's leaving the tip. If I'm giving her, she giving me money, we both stacking. This shit is a partnership. Ain't no way a person's supposed to do it alone. Y'all MFers want to MFer to pay for everything that ain't real. It's just about money.
Okay, first of all, that's just terrible English.
Yeah, I'm just reading what he said.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I have never, ever not paid for something in a relationship.
Hold on.
But listen, I have discovered that I am the exception, because the more I became close with, my guy friends over the course of the last couple years, stories from you, stories from Willie and Matthew. And, it's like, I realized when I would hear stories, I'm like, wait, women aren't providing anything? That's strange to me. And that might get some pushback from other women. I actually have friends that are like, I will not go out with a man unless he pays for everything. That's fine. Do you? But I don't work that way. I never expect everything to be paid for. I feel like I try to find ways to contribute how I can. I do think there's a aspect of pride that a lot of men have, that they do prefer to provide, but I think it is nice to provide when I can. So, I think, it's one of those things where, like he mentioned the movies, you pay for the tickets, I'll get the snacks. I think that's totally reasonable, I don't think that's insane to ask. I feel like, or not even ask. I don't ask. And I don't want my man to ask. I don't like that either. I feel weird if my man would be like, can you pay for this? I'm going to beat you to it and I'm going to pay for it. So if I want to do something with you and I'm going to make the plans, I'll just pay for it. I've done that several times before. You know me, I'm a big sports girl. If I want to go to a sporting event and I know that you're off on Thursday night and I'm off on Thursday night and the Braves are in town, I'm just going to pick up the tickets. I got it. Babe, got the tickets for the Braves game, Thursday night at 7:30. You're off. I'm off. I don't think that should be an expectation on either party. But if I want to do something, I'm just going to buy it. I want to do it.
So again, like fellas, if you're watching, I just want to take a moment of silence real quick for if there are some women out there like Jordan right here, if there's any out there.
Oh, we're out here. You just got to dig through 10 miles of shit to find it.
So, I personally agree with everything that he said. I think that in this day and age, I hate to generalize, but most women, they do expect for, the man to pay for everything. And some women out there think that, I'm not saying based off what you just said, but some women do think that some men are like prideful that they only like want to pay.
Yeah.
Now, if you got money like that, cool.
Right.
If that's what you do, cool. Even Dwayne Wade, who's a multi-millionaire, however many times over, his wife, who's also a multi-millionaire, even said they went 50-50.
Yeah. You know what's funny, KP? I literally was about to say, you already know who I'm talking about, but one of the cheapest people I ever dated was a professional athlete. Never paid for anything. Like, that's wanted crazy. Me to pay for everything, but was making $8 million a year.
That's
riding the bench. But
in my opinion, I think that's just the power / lack of respect type of thing. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel about it. But I think most men eventually, most quote unquote normal men, I think if they're paying all the time for something, I think at some point they're going to end up resenting that particular person.
I agree with that 100%.
So it could be resenting. It could be if there's a fight and they say, I pay for everything, like throwing it back in your face, like that shows resentment, stuff like that.
Right. And it's going to be the second they don't do something that is going to be something that starts to fester.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why, granted, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that there haven't been females where I've paid for multiple dates in a row. I would never sit here and lie and say that. But I can also say that even though it's not a quote unquote expectation, if I didn't smash in those multiple dates and I paid all this money, I am hot. I'm hot. I'm sorry. I'm hot. Any dude is going to sit here and tell you, I'm going to sit here and fans, I'm going to be real with you. I am going to be hot. Any dude who says otherwise is lying to your face.
Oh my God.
Do you think there's dudes out there who says, yeah, I'd love to take you out 5 to 8 times. That's okay. We don't ever have to do anything sexually.
Okay, I'm the wrong person to ask because you know I did the 12-date rule once.
No, yeah, but no, we're not. I'm talking about regular. We're going to dinner. We're doing some kind of event. I'm paying 8 to 10 times. I mean, it's not even 8 to 10 times. My number is lower than that. I mean, after that, it's just, I'm kind of over it after 8 to 10. Yeah.
That's one too many.
Man, come on, man. So, I don't mind paying. So I don't want females to think that I'm cheap because I'm really not. I definitely don't mind paying. But if you, after a couple times, if you don't offer, if you don't pay, I mean, you don't even have to pay. Like the tip thing, I think is awesome. I think it's awesome.
I pulled that card before too, especially at a super expensive dinner. Like I've gone to a very expensive dinner before where I knew the tab was going to be like upwards of $250, $300, and I paid the tip.
Yeah.
Like I literally Venmo'd or Zelled him like $60 and was like, that's for the tip,
Or even what I would think is even hotter is it even if I paid and then she randomly Zelled me like XYZ because I wasn't even expecting it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, that's
cute.
Yeah, that's tight.
I would with the guy, that would be like, that would turn me on. truthfully.
Yeah.
Like, I would think
See,
if I was a guy and a woman did that and went out of her way, I would be like, okay, I like that energy.
I love that energy. I
Yeah.
love that energy. Like I said, episode, I think it was the last episode or the episode before last, like Neo, She Got Her Own with Fabulous and Jamie Foxx is the epitome of the kind of woman that I want. As simple as that. Everything that they say, that's what I want.
Yeah. I think there's something very attractive about the idea of a man that would pay for everything. But I think, I feel like this was maybe the first pod I ever came on with you guys. I referenced my mom and dad who, shout out to them, October 11th. They're celebrating 40 years of marriage.
Hey, shout out mom and dad.
Man.
Happy anniversary.
My mom has told me so many times, she's like, in the last 40 years, I've lost my job. He's lost his job. We both have been down. Like it's a roller coaster. Nobody's up all the time. There was like a viral video, KP, that who was it? I can't remember who it was now. Gosh darn it. I don't remember. I'll think of it. But the point is, the guy said, nobody's going to be the all-star all the time. You're going to get on. He literally compares it to like a sports analogy. He's like, there's going to be years when you're on injured reserve and your wife is the leading lady batting 500 and you're going to be on the bench trying to cope with that and understand that it's going to ebb and it's going to flow. And so it's like, my thought process is, if my man lost my job or lost his job today, could I provide? Because at the end of the day, if we got a baby, if we got kids, we got a family, like if I am solely relying on you, we see this happen all the time, right? Women will divorce men because they lose their job and then they can't provide. And it like blows my mind. Again, I might offend a lot of women with this comment, but I'm like, to not know that if something were to happen that you couldn't provide, that scares the crap out of me. Like, I got to know that I have put myself in a position to win because, knock on wood, God forbid, accidents happen, injuries happen, people, you just don't know. And it's like, to be in a situation where you're not in a place to provide for your partner, that's literally what they say, like in sickness and in health. Doesn't actually mean just when they're sick and when they're healthy. It means like when you're down bad and when you're up. Like it means more than just that, right? Like I think to myself, like, if something were to happen to my man, would I be able to also be the provider? Doesn't need to be forever, right? My hope would be, he's not just going to sit on his butt and get an unemployment check, but right. you would hope that they'd be active or whatever. But I think for me, like, I just come from a different situation. Like my mom was the breadwinner, so my dad was working and my mom was working, but my mom was making more. So my dad was home a lot more. So I was raised mostly by my dad, and so it's like, to me, the dynamic is, doesn't matter who makes more money, both have to provide in some capacity. But not everybody's built like that. Some people see their moms never work a day in their life and they're like, that's the status quo.
Facts. No, that's facts. See, and I didn't come from that, and I'm from the Midwest, and my mom has retired and now she's back working. So I my parents, they don't play when it comes to working. So right. It's crazy that, in that situation, there are some women who, I think we asked the question like last week, that if your spouse was out of work for 2 years, would you stay with that person? If they was out of work for 2 years, that's crazy. Like, if you, in this day and age, you can easily find a job.
But that's the thing, is nobody wants to take the job sometimes because of a pride issue, right? They're like, well, I'm not going to go work at Taco Bell. Well, when you hit that, 6-7 months and you're not providing anything, to expect your partner to give, and you're not doing anything to contribute. Yeah, that's I don't know if I would be able to stay for 2 years.
2 years ago.
You're not being active. And what I mean by active is, I mean, like, making an effort to go out and apply. Might not be your dream job, but I mean, there's been times, you know, I had to go back to bartending for years. Like, I didn't bartend and I got into a situation where I didn't love my job. I was being taken advantage of. I walked away and I had to bartend for 6-7 months before I found a job that I was like, okay, I can do this now. Because the thought of just not doing anything is insane. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. So there is another thing that I saw, that which this other post that I saw that I thought that was absolutely crazy. I don't agree with it, but it said, most men are secretly bisexual and we do not talk about that enough. What do you think about that?
Did you really want me to come on this episode? My sister and I be talking about this all the time.
You think a lot of dudes are like other dudes?
I wouldn't use the terminology bisexual or gay, but I would say that there are certain situations where a relationship between two men, like it, I'm not saying you're like, I want to be with that person, but your love is that strong. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I know. No. So you're saying that you at some point in your life, you've had someone in your life where him and his boy were so close, you thought that was a little weird.
Yeah, I remember this guy I was dating I think it was in college, who, like, I don't know, their relationship was just weird to me. Like, I remember going over to his house and being like, just how much he talked about his friend and stuff. And I was like, there was literally a moment where I was like, I feel like this is more than your bro. But I didn't think something happened like sexually, but like, I just was like, I don't even speak about my best friend like that. Like, it's like, y'all are really locked in, you know?
So, I mean, but I wouldn't
say bisexual. Like, I wouldn't say like you're sexually trying to get to that place. I don't agree with that. But my sister and I we've talked about that before. Like, she, you know, has dated this guy who was super into fashion. And like, fashion can be a tricky one because a lot of people are into fashion, but it's like, fashion can be misconstrued to be a little feminine at times. So there's conversations like that. Like, you know, certain styles right now, I feel like when I see them on the red carpet, I'm like, oh, that's questionable. Like,
yeah, that's high fashion though. That's always going to be.
Yeah.
That's always going to be.
Some people are into that. Some people are like really into that. And if you're a guy, I could see how. I remember telling her, I was like, I could see how that would maybe be, I don't know, interpreted some way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I guess. So there was another post that I found that, like, I'm going through all my good ones. A man found his girlfriend's whole body count on her phone. She had the names. She had the list blank out of 10. She had emojis by their different names. And
oh my,
it was a lot. It was a lot of names. Like, she's got a Jack who's a 7 out of 10 with a smiley face. She's got Caleb 500 out of 10. She's got,
oh my God, you might as well just jump off a cliff.
yeah, like, how would you react if you found a list of your boyfriend's body count in his phone? Would that be it?
Okay. That's a two-parter to me.
Okay.
If you had a list of your body count in your phone, like just names, I probably would feel weird, but I probably wouldn't like break up with somebody. I think the kicker of this story is the part about like the rating. Like
Yeah.
that's weird to me. Like that's weird to me. Remember how we were
Right.
talking about, it was the last episode I was on, about like pictures. I told you there was an ex-boyfriend of mine that had pictures of his exes.
Yeah. I
I
still got
still
pictures.
think about that to this day because I'm like, he probably has pictures of me. Like, that's so gross. Delete those. But
Oh, for sure.
I remember what you said is like something about like, you know, when you go hunting, what do you do with the deer's head? Like, that's the vibe I get from that. Is the girl is like, she's like proud of that in some way. Like, you know,
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I mean,
that's how I would
I don't
feel
actually
all that.
I don't actually know how I would react personally. I mean, if it's a joking thing like on the video, like I haven't heard it in a couple of days, but I'm pretty sure they were looking at it together. So it wasn't like he was just randomly going through her phone.
Right.
And then for one, why would you even have that in your phone? Even as a dude, I don't know if I would.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know if I would even have I can't say that I've never had it written down somewhere. I can't say that, but I would never put it in my phone. That's crazy. And then the rankings, yeah, that's wild. That's diabolical behavior. For sure.
I can't get hip with that. I can't.
There's at least 40 names on there too.
I can't get hip to that at all. That feels weird.
Yeah.
That you would sit there and rank them or like have emojis and like things like that. Like that is the part that would make me crash out. As her boyfriend, or if it was my boyfriend and as their girlfriend, I would crash out just based on the ratings. Like if I stumbled across that, list, like I said, I might feel some type of way, but I'm like, I don't know. That rating thing is weird to me because then I would be so self-conscious.
Yeah. Like what if she had you as like a 2 out of 10?
Yeah. Yeah. What if you scroll?
Damn it, man. That would suck.
Yeah. You're like
what if your guy or girl rated your sex game, like you overheard them talking to their friend, their best friend, that your sex game was subpar. It was just okay.
That's my 13th reason. I swear to God,
That's your 13th. What do you mean that's your 13th?
You ever heard somebody say that, KV?
No.
Your 13th reason. It was like a show that was really popular a while back called I think it was called The 13 Reasons. It was about a girl that like offed herself.
Yeah.
So people always say,
I know that show.
That's my 13th reason. Like that's what would send me over the edge.
Oh, okay.
Like I would jump off of a skyscraper. If I overheard my man saying I'm subpar, no.
Would you break up?
Probably, for real. Because why have you not communicated that?
Yeah.
Like, you know what we were just talking about the other day? You want to hear a funny story, KP?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So my girlfriend and I out here, we hadn't seen each other a while. So we found this brewery to go to in Atlanta. And it was like voted like in USA Today as like the best brewery in the state of Georgia. I'm like, we got to go. There was like wings, like cider beers, like all this kind of stuff. So we pull up, we get there, we're standing in line to get in. I'm like, oh, wow, this is like the real deal. We get to the door. The girl is like, do you have your ticket? I'm like, ticket? She's like, oh, are you just here for the brewery? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, there's a singles event going on right now. And I was like, a singles event? We had gone on like a singles night. Anyways, long story short, we were at this place or whatever, and there was a girl that came up to me, and she was talking about not the same situation, but she had been married. She was at the singles event, but came up to the bar, and me and my best friend were sitting up at the bar. We got to talking, and she's like telling us that she was married and basically found a text from her husband to another woman saying like the sex was not good. And she divorced him.
Damn.
So yes, I do think I probably would be fired up enough, because she made a good point. She said, sex is awkward, right? Like the first couple times that you hook up with somebody, like I feel like you're nervous or you're worried about this, that, and the third. Once you get into that rhythm, I think it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Like I don't think personally, like you can base that unless the chemistry isn't there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if there was no chemistry, I probably wouldn't go again. But like, I don't think it's always fair if you're vibing with someone and you're like reciprocated energy, like he's fire, you're fire. And then you go home and that first time is like, ugh, wasn't the best. I probably wouldn't nix it. Like I probably would give it another chance or two, you know? Because I think
I'm saying this is like a year and a half in.
Yeah, I would probably break up with him.
Damn, after a year and a half, you would break up with old buddy? You would not with him, but you would break up with dude?
Because why did you not say anything? Like to be like, hey, I like this and I like that. And like
that's a part of the hard conversation. That's a part of the hard conversation, right? You like yourself said it would be hard to talk that sometimes certain topics would be hard to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I guess that's true. Like, I guess that would be a hard conversation to have. But if I'm really into the person and I want the connection to work, I would tell you.
But how do you bring up your sex game is whack?
But that's the thing. Like, why are you with somebody for a year and a half if it's whack?
Maybe.
Like, that's a choice.
Maybe everything else is just great. The sex isn't terrible, but it's just like, meh. But this person is great. So what do you want more? You want more sex, or you want someone who's a quality person who does all the intangibles, who has a job, does everything that she needs to do. She just needs to be taught.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would appreciate my partner coming to me and being like, hey, something that really turns me on is this.
Yeah.
Can we try that? Like, can we do that? Can we try it? Like,
yeah, I'm more of the mindset, if you love me, teach me.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Like, show me what you like and I can try it. Now, then if you showed me, 6, 7, 8 tricks in the bag and I'm still not getting it, then yeah, like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Felix, what up, my guy? We did not start late. We started 2 or 3 minutes late, but I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, we're already 50 minutes in.
Yeah. But he says, lots of people in that type of relationship, LOL, got to have that chat. And then he said, show me. No, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there are people in relationships in this day and age that aren't happy sexually with, their partner. I'm sure there's some out there in this world. But you got to have the conversation. I'm okay with having tough conversations.
Yeah.
At first, like, I'll probably throw out some hints, and then eventually, as much as it would suck, again, I don't think anyone likes feedback or it's tough, regardless if you're at work or, because I think personally everyone has something that they need to work on.
Yeah.
And so, like, you just got to have that conversation. You got
Well,
to.
and like you said, if like to me, if the connection is that fire, then it's worth the conversation. If you're
Right.
like, I'm struggling in the bedroom, but everything else aligns, I think it's worth having that conversation. You know, there's literally ways that you can keep it exciting. You can get to a point where you both are satisfied. But if you're not willing to have that conversation, you might be missing out on that person, right? Like, but that's why I said, like, if somebody went a year and a half and never brought it up, and then I randomly heard them on the phone saying, yeah,
Oh, that would be funny. All
I
right.
give it to two men, I'm like, I'm out.
I've got 2 to 3 more topics for you. The one topic I am really, 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 really interested to hear your opinion
Okay.
on, because when you hear it, you'll know. So,
Okay.
one of the things which I know you'll agree with this particular topic, so that we probably won't spend too much time on this one, but another one on Instagram, it says a woman goes viral for saying she shot her shot at her now husband. She encourages men to approach men. And then it says, and this is a woman's blog site, and they said, are you trying it? And I know you are a big proponent of shooting your shot.
Yeah.
And I think I've said on this show multiple times, I think there's nothing sexier than a woman making the first move. There's nothing sexier than a woman coming up to me, approaching me and shooting her shot. I don't care if the woman is if she's gorgeous or if she's a plus size woman. I still think it's hot. Like, the confidence to me is hot.
Yeah.
And so, what's your opinion on women shooting their shot and not being scared and waiting for the man to approach them and quote unquote chase them?
I mean, nobody really uses it anymore. I feel like it was a big thing maybe like a year or two ago, but that big dick energy, like BDE, I think that's more than just towards men, right? Like, I think women can have that confidence too and exert that same energy. Maybe it's BPE. I don't know, but like, I feel like that energy it's attractive no matter what. Actually, like, KP, you're in sales and stuff, right? Or you've done sales before. Like, there's this theory about sexual energy in the sales, industry. Like, it's a big thing. Alpha versus, all the other people. I forget what they call them. I went to school for all this. I mean, I'm old, but it's like, when you step in the room and you drop that briefcase to make a sale, like, if you're nervous, if you're waiting, you're not going to get the sale. So, like, that same energy, like, men and women can have that energy where they walk into a room and they just kind of exert that BDE where it's like, she's got it. I mean, I think we've all seen both men and women like walk into a club, walk into a restaurant, walk into the room where you've been like, they got it. Man or woman, you're like, they got it. So to me, like you said, I've always been an advocate of it. I mean, I feel like there's been times I've been turned down. Like, I remember, I think I was with you at like Hot Chick, and I was like, I want to go up to that guy and like talk to him. And you were like, go talk to him. And I went over and he literally was like, I don't date white women, but like, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I was like, cool. Like, I literally was like, sounds good. Like, I not going to magically become black. So it's just, I'm like, it is what it is. Like, but had I not done that and I would have just waited and never known. And now I'm seeing this person 5-6 times out in Scottsdale. And then I finally get up the courage and he says, oh, I don't date white women. Now I just spent 6 weeks getting that courage up when I could have, done it 6 weeks ago, or you know what I mean?
Right.
It's a lot of wasted energy to not just shoot your shot.
Facts. Like I said, I think it's hot. I think when a woman shows that confidence, it's sexy. Because I would assume that it would take a lot of courage to go up to a man, especially, you know, in a non-bar setting. Like that is like, I'm like, ooh.
Like, what do you mean? Like at a coffee shop?
Coffee shop, grocery store.
Yeah.
Like I've had like women at the grocery stores say, "Oh my God, you are so handsome." Like
Oh,
to me, that's shooting a shot. Like if a
yeah.
I don't want
It's
to
an attempt to get the conversation going.
exactly. Like that's all I need. Just pass me the ball, coach. Pass me the ball. That's it. And
Right.
so I think that's super sexy when a girl knows what she wants and she goes after it.
Yeah.
And if that so happens to be me, I'm like, hey,
Say less.
yeah, say less. All right. So second to last question. I saw this and I thought it would be a fun stuff to talk about. I think the last one is going to be pretty interesting. But for you, what instantly ruins sex?
Instantly ruins?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I would probably say when I'm just not feeling great. I think women, you know, we go through a lot. Like we're on social media, we see other women always looking their best, things like that. And I have some days where I wake up and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I've tried 6 different hairstyles, it won't lay right. The eyelashes aren't curling, whatever. And I think that kind of like takes me out of the mood, maybe. Like I don't know that I would say like I can't think of anything off the top of my head about what would ruin sex, but like I think about something that would make me not want to, and it would probably make it not great. Like if I'm not feeling good about myself that day and I'm having to like put on this front, I think that would ruin it for me, is if I wasn't in the headspace of being like, I feel good today. My girl matchmaker, Maria, I always be talking about her. She came up with the 12-date rule. Everybody go look it up.
Please don't.
She says that as like a sex therapist, that women should masturbate before a date, because that, those endorphins that get released, then you feel sexy, you feel hot, and then you go into a date and you feel that and it like radiates, right? So like that's the kind of energy where it's like, I feel like I would have to be in that mindset to like that would ruin it for me if I'm like just feeling like a bad day, I don't feel pretty, like I feel like
so there's nothing a man can do to ruin it for you in the moment. Like we'll just say, for example, like bites your nipple or something, or tickles you when he doesn't mean to tickle you, and it just ruins the vibe, and because you laugh.
I mean, I would probably say being called the wrong name. I had that happen once. That did ruin it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Somebody said the wrong name.
Yeah, that ruined it for me.
Dan, did you instantly stop?
Yeah, 100%.
Did you say get off me, or did you get off?
I think I literally just like left. Like I think I just was like, yeah, I'm good.
Damn, I don't think I've ever done that. That's crazy.
I was like, yeah, I think we're done here. Like, can you imagine how embarrassing?
Sarah. I mean JoJo. I mean Jordan. Oh, that is crazy. Oh, that's wild. Yeah,
I saw a tweet today that said men continuously lower the bar. Like that is a moment.
See, okay, so before I ask this last question in regards to that, like I think we've had this conversation, or you've heard this conversation. Women think, okay, they said What did they say?
What? Oh, men
that-
constantly lower the bar.
Men constantly lower the bar. But when there is a certain guy in front of said woman, they don't want said dude because they would rather have other said dude. Just because, I mean, granted, I'm not saying that everyone is a match. I am not saying that.
Yeah.
But I truly do believe in, if I met someone, I would give them at least, if I gave them my number, that means there's some interest mutually. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So if I give them my number, I would at least give this girl, if it was mutual, I would at least give this girl one, maybe two particular dates.
Yeah. I mean,
to know it. Now, most women, they could give you their number after a couple texts. They could be like, "Oh, like, how can you truly get?" I mean, some people just don't text well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I think for men, I think we are more forgiving in that. Or anyway, so when I say that, I think that the women that are going for the dudes that are lowering the bar, they're going for dudes who are probably taking advantage of them liking them.
Absolutely.
Whereas they have other dudes who they probably should be going after, who could be just as good as this other dude, but they don't see this dude because they only see this dude.
Yeah, I would agree with that, actually, 100%.
So, I hate when women say, that there's a lot of shitty men out here, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. But what I am saying is that there are a lot of good men out here who would love, a girlfriend, but there's a lot of quote unquote shitty women out here as well, because the women are just as bad as the dudes nowadays.
My boyfriend and I were just talking about that earlier today, because I said there's a lot of crappy women out there. And then I had to pause and I was like, and there's a lot of crappy men. Like, I think it's mutual. I think it's just how it is, and it's unfortunate, but I would agree with you that it's like I said at the beginning of the pod, it's like there's a lot of women that believe that toxicity is the norm. And so they will only go for a man that provides that thrill, because that's what they get enjoyment out of. That's what they correlate as love, right? But there's a lot of women that won't take that because they would rather wait for a good man. But then in waiting for a good man, they might meet a shitty guy, vice versa for the guys, right? Like, so a good guy might be like, I'm ready for a girlfriend. I'm ready to commit. But they keep getting with these girls that are like, you don't pay for this. You don't pay for this. And it's creating this, like,
this monster.
Yeah. This never ending vicious cycle.
No, yeah, 100%. Like, so, like I think a lot of women who watch this podcast and a lot of friends, they tell me, like, you're such a player, Keinon, you're blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. And I always say, I would personally love a girlfriend right now. I would love a girlfriend. I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I would love for it to happen organically, because I think when you go looking for something, you never find it. So, I would love a girlfriend, and I would treat that girl with the utmost respect, because low key, I'm a lover boy. But at the end of the day, a lot of these women out here, like, they play the game until the next dude comes along, or if you don't do this, or some women are obsessed with their friends and they don't want to hang out with the dudes because they're in their girl era or whatever. Like, shut up. I don't got time for all that. So, and this goes into our last topic, which I saw this, and it came from a man. A man posted this, and I think that he says that a man in his 30s or 40s and up with no kids is a red flag. What else have you been doing like with your life for the past 20 years? So before you go, I don't have any kids. So when I saw this, I was just like, what the fuck?
Well, that we know of.
Right. So I thought, and I was just like, I know that there is a stigma with women or some women out there that if a man has no kids after 30 or 40 or has never been married after 30 or 40, that something is wrong. Does someone not want them?
Right.
What's the deal?
Right.
I personally think that, and I wish I don't have my YouTube tied to my computer, but I wish I can actually play the whole entire video maybe next time. But I think that I don't understand why that would be a stigma. So if you could explain to me from a women's POV, why do you agree with what he's saying? B, why do you think that is a stigma or a red flag for some women? And why?
So I don't think we're staying in that space as much anymore. Meaning, I feel like that is becoming actually less and less common of a red flag. I feel as if, I just read a report or like a article that said that apparently like the United States is at risk of like the lowest reproduction like of all time. I think, so to me, when I read that, I'm like, I agree, right? Like, I think, I have a solid group of 4 girls that I hang out with out here. We're all 30 and up, and none of us have kids. And, that's so normal to me, So if I met a man who also didn't have kids, that's normal to me. I feel like a couple years ago, it wasn't as normal. Like, I feel like that's almost aged poorly because I personally feel like we're getting further and further away from that narrative where, it used to be that I was a unicorn for being a woman who's in her 30s who didn't have kids. People were like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I very rarely hear that anymore. Like, I would argue in the last year, like 2 years, that has depleted immensely. I do not feel like that is a red flag anymore. I feel like people are trying to get out of debt. I feel like people are making career moves. I think people are making sure they're financially stable, and then they're looking for a partner and somebody to have kids with. I think we're in this time right now where that is just, to me, I do not believe that's a red flag. And I don't have any friends that I feel like also see that as a red flag. Now, I feel like, right, Felix, like, it's expensive. Can you imagine? Like, I think my sister has 2 kids and she's a full-time stay-at-home mom. And I'm like, I don't know how you're surviving. Like, I truly don't. Like, the amount of food those kids eat, well, actually, they don't eat that much. They're pretty small. But, it's like they're going to get big, So I don't know. I don't agree with that. I feel like the people that write that, the women that write that are women that have kids. I would think women that believe a man with no kids is a red flag is a woman that has kids. Okay. And so, I have had several partners that have told me, like ex-boyfriends, my current boyfriend has told me that like they won't date women with kids because they want to experience it for the first time with their partner. And so I also feel like, if you're somebody that's looking for that and you're not willing to put yourself in a situation to have that, that's not something that should be disrespected. You know, like it makes me sad to hear that men will not date women with children, and women with children will say, that's gross. You know, it's like, no, that's just a preference. Like, you know, I think that's a preference for somebody to say, I would prefer to not date somebody with kids.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I would prefer to date Black men. I would prefer to date white. Like, that is a preference that somebody might say, I would prefer to date somebody without kids. So if somebody with kids comes across, it would probably take a lot for me to consider that because it's outside of my preference.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. But what do you think of the dude saying that it's a red flag for
I
a
bet
man?
you he has kids. I'm willing to bet that man has kids. He probably got 2-3 baby mamas. Like, men without kids are, you know, it's like, bro, just because you got 3 baby moms doesn't mean it's a red flag when old boy doesn't. So knock it off.
Right. Like, that's crazy. That's
That's just being a hater. Like, I feel like this is just being a hater.
Super hater. Felix says, I agree with JoJo. It's expensive out there. LOL. And then Felix says, facts. You're 100% correct, Felix. I know that you said that thought process is slowing down out there, but there have been like women in my life that I think that have kids that look at a man without kids as like, oh, he just wants to be a playboy or a frat boy or something like that.
I could see that.
But I mean, some men are that way, you know, but I think for those men that are in their 30s and 40s and above that don't have kids, maybe it was something that, you know, it was just not in the cards. You know, personally, as I mentioned, I don't have kids. And, you know, if I met someone that I've dated women that have had kids, if I dated someone and they didn't have kids at this day and age, perfect. You know, we could travel. You know, I know there's no barriers to seeing this person.
Right.
And I think that selfishly, which I can truthfully admit, that's one reason why, you know, most men probably don't want to date a woman with kids because, and I'll just speak for, I'm not saying that I would never, I've clearly I have, but selfishly, I won't be able to see and spend time with that person as much as I would like to, because I think, and we're about to wrap up here in a second, I think that a woman should take their time with introducing a man to their kids, if at all. I think it should be a long period of time before that happens. And I'm aware of the fact that I may not be able to spend time with that person because of that matter. But you know, I think if you two like one another, I think you can make time. Like whether it's, you know, if I don't know, you can figure it out some way somehow. But yeah, I don't really have a preference if a woman has kids or not. I think it's better if they don't, but if they do, it's not that big of a deal.
But I think it's important to remember that red flags, quote unquote, again, are preferences, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But a red flag to me might not be a red flag to you because red flags are preferences. Yeah. So I think that I'm really curious, like do some creeping. I want to know if this man has kids. I gotta know. But I'm like, I do feel like it's somebody would probably say that if they were in a situation and they had kids and they were dating somebody and they didn't, they probably would be like, well, how do I have them and you don't have them, right? That's a red flag. But I think at the end of the day, it's just all about preference. And I do think we are getting away from that. And I do think it's worth understanding what your preference is, and then understanding that it doesn't have to be a red flag. It just might be, I'm not interested in that person. Like that person has something that I'm not interested in. And like,
But do you think a woman can make that a red flag? Because
100%. I think anybody can make anything a red flag.
Yeah, facts. It's crazy. It's crazy out here. I mean,
hard times.
It's hard out here. The dating pool is not for the weak. Like, before we wrap up, like I said, if I could find someone that I could just chill with,
and you really here's the thing, KP, is like finding a good one is so rare these days. It's just do the work. Like, seriously, like, I'm not saying if you're miserable, right?
Yeah,
but like if you find somebody that you genuinely vibe with and you connect with, like we said, it's worth having the hard conversations because ain't shit out there, y'all.
It ain't nothing in these streets. Trust me. All right, so we're about to wrap up. First and foremost, I want to say thank you, Jordan, for hopping on with me. I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you for everything. I want to also thank Felix. I want to thank Nick. I want to thank Monica. For those that tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in with us this week. Please like, subscribe. I hope everyone out there has a safe Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
Jordan, what do you got for the people?
Go Buckeyes. I'm not a betting girl. But if I did bet, OSU all the way. But I do have a fantasy draft too on Sunday. So it's going to be a long weekend. Got the holiday, fantasy football, college football. We got a lot going on. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Because again, you could have been anywhere, right?
But you're here at us.
But you're here.
Jordan, thank you so much. Guys, we will see you next Wednesday. Please tune in, like, subscribe. Jordan, thank you so much.
Always.
Bye guys. Bye. Get down, Leo. What are you doing, buddy? Get down.